AdvantEdge is a change-focused neuroscience approach for genuine results in your leadership, work, and life. And you were wondering why we can't spell AdvantEdge correctly? Hi, I'm Dr. John Kenworthy, a behavioral neuroscientist and expert leadership AdvantEdge coach. And I'm thrilled that you've joined me here. My purpose is to encourage, develop, guide, and empower you in the art and neuroscience of expert leadership so that you build a successful organization and create a collaborative, high-performing team with engaged, joyful employees. I've long been fascinated about how people learn, and my postgrad masters and doctoral research into the effectiveness of different approaches of developing managerial and leadership competencies was groundbreaking and led to the creation of the AdvantEdge model of learning and development. All AdvantEdge coaching is based on this unique and powerful AdvantEdge leadership development process, based on our neuroscience research in how people learn, change, and develop. EDGE stands for encourage, develop, guide, and empower. EDGE isn't a silver bullet or a magic pill that gets instant results, but based upon the latest neuroscience and social cognitive psychology research. EDGE is like a recipe for a pragmatic, change-focused approach to help clients realize genuine, sustainable results in leadership, work, and life. And EDGE isn't only a model for coaching. You can use EDGE in any communication situation where you want to empower change or influence others. We use the EDGE development model in all our guideposts, and as well as explaining the EDGE model, we'll also clarify two other critically important aspects that enable us to help you get those results. And those are, number one, to clarify what coaching is and what it's not. And secondly, how AdvantEdge coaching truly empowers you to change and sustain your results. Now, if you're short on time and don't need to know the detail, I have a neat TLDR summary prepared for you. If you're ready to dive into the detail and understand how you can use EDGE in your development and work, then we'll get right to E for encouraging. Too long, didn't read. Okay, here's the short version without the detail. EDGE is like a recipe. A recipe is a set of instructions that describe how to make something that others can follow. The format that works brilliantly well is pretty standard. We start with a picture, or a video these days, of the successful end result. There is a list of the ingredients you need. There is a method for preparing and putting the ingredients together. Wise cooks practice in a safe environment with trusted tasters. They adapt and improve, and then, using that method in a live, more pressured environment, and then wrapped with a review of how your dish turned out this time. So EDGE is like a recipe, but for change. Let's go through the EDGE recipe. Encourage is the end result. It's your purpose and payoff. This is what success will look like when you have finished. It's why you are motivated and inspired to change. Develop are the ingredients for this dish. This includes what you need to know, linked to what you already know. Coaches and leaders need to be especially aware of the curse of knowledge. Guide. This is the how or the method of using and combining the ingredients. It's okay to mess up here in our kitchen because you can make a mess and redo. Your first attempt may be perfect or may benefit from some changes that work best for you. Empower is doing it in your own kitchen. You may still need to refer to your recipe or ask chef for some help. Work with your buddy and help each other. And always a review with yourself, your buddy, your chef, coach, and patron, your sponsor, to wrap up, or what went well and what you would do differently next time. Keep these 2 questions in mind. It helps us to establish a safe environment and a learning mindset right at the beginning of any development process. As this is an asynchronous medium, you are already in charge of your own safe environment. Then it helps to prime your brain to be actively seeking to learn and what you will do with this learning using these 2 questions. So key questions to be considering as you read, watch, or listen to this or any AdvantEdge coaching guide. 1. What is the one thing you will stop doing, start doing, or change how you behave or act that will have the greatest impact on your leadership performance from your learning here? Number 2, what is the single tiniest step you can take immediately that will begin that improvement, and by when? Well, coaching is a journey to change. Encourage is about inspiring and motivating you to embark on a quest of learning and change. And that's what coaching is, a journey to change. The word coach has its origins in the mid-16th century, and you won't be surprised to hear it meant a covered horse-drawn carriage, which took people from their starting point to their desired destination. So the purpose of your AdvantEdge coaching is to provide you with a vehicle to assist your journey from where you are to where you want to be. There may be bumps along the road and your quest may not always be comfortable. Change is never comfortable. And the payoff is that AdvantEdge coaching uses a process designed to empower you to change effectively and sustainably to achieve clear objectives and results. The role of purpose and payoff. A coach takes you on a journey to change, not just an adventure. An adventure is a journey without a destination. A coach who does not help you get results, not a coach. They may be a counselor, a therapist, a mentor even, but they are not a coach. Coaching is a vehicle to help carry you on your journey to get results. The role of purpose and payoff. See, you'll have noticed within this metaphor that the purpose of this learning and change for you is clearly spelt out, as is your payoff. Together, they answer your brain's first burning question: why? Why should I change? Why do I need your product or service? Why should I listen to you? The purpose of doing anything is to satisfy your higher personal needs: belonging, mattering, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. This inspires your brain to act. The payoff of doing anything is to satisfy your more basic personal needs, your physiological, your safety and security needs. This motivates your brain towards action or away from inaction. The payoff provides motivation in the short term to gather momentum, and purpose provides the inspiration for the longer term. Together, they provide the impetus for us to unstuck our potential, to perform, and why you should have the courage to put in the required effort and resilience to unleash performance. The role of story. Why we often use a story pitch or theory to encourage. Stories or theories for encouragement can be designed to recognize the villain, the unwanted behavior, or the problem, the client, who is the other party, as the hero, you or your company as the mentor, and your solution, coaching, product, service, as the secret weapon that will empower your hero to overcome the villain, achieving the purpose and payoff. At the beginning of our story, we meet our hero. Remember, that's the client, not you. Things are pretty ordinary, and then we meet the villain of the story. This is the hero's roadblock, their nemesis. At first, our hero thinks that they can handle this easily, but they have increasing problems. We chance upon our mentor of the story, the hero's Yoda, who introduces our hero to a secret weapon. We have some trials about learning to use this new weapon, and it takes some time, and the hero takes on the villain and loses. Well, because the villain cheats. So our hero doubles down and learns to fight back. After a hard-won battle, our hero wins, and they achieve their payoff. But there's more ahead. The hero's purpose is still somewhat distance off ahead. And we all know that either the villain will return or a new villain will arrive. Your brain loves stories. We remember stories. We feel stories. Your brain is wired to detect patterns. And the stories are stored as images and symbols. Stories are recalled more accurately than facts, and they are more effective as vehicles to convey information. Theories are a more rational, scientific approach based on testable evidence, whereas stories can be more creative, fictional, and emotional based on ideas, beliefs, and cultures. But both can capture our attention. A story or a theory captures our attention because our brain wants a resolution. No, it needs a resolution. It craves certainty. And a story, particularly the pitch of a storyline, think of every movie trailer ever, tantalize your brain with uncertainty. Now that your brain understands why change is necessary, it wants to know more. It wants to know whatever it needs to know in order to change. And that's what we cover next with develop. Your brain wants that secret weapon and to learn how to use it. So to look at developing. My master's and doctoral research was focused on understanding what are the most effective learning approaches to developing management and leadership competencies. Suffice to say that the lecture was by far the least effective. What we did discover is that we typically go through 4 stages of learning, and different tools and techniques of development are most useful at each stage. In the show notes and on the side of the video here, you can see these 4 stages of learning. One of the most useful models was created by Martin M. Broadwell back in 1969, known as the 4 stages of learning. In this model, development is a process of taking you from being unconsciously incompetent, that is, you don't know what you don't know how to do something, through to the point where you are consciously competent, or you know what you need to know how to do something, and you can do it well enough, and ultimately to a place of unconscious competence. The EDGE model shows us the 4 tools and techniques most appropriate at each of these stages of development. In step 1, we are the enthusiastic beginner. At this stage, we are not consciously aware of what we need to know or do, nor our lack of proficiency. We are in a comfort zone of not knowing what we don't know, and thus don't particularly care. Encouraging someone answers why we need to change something, and inspires and motivates us to begin our learning journey as enthusiastic beginners. Encouragement is not really a one-off event, but regularly throughout the journey to continually nudge us to be courageous and venture out of our comfort zone. Stage 2, we're the frustrated learner. We become aware of what we need to know and painfully aware of our lack of proficiency. This develop period can be frustrating with little apparent progress and so much more to know and learn. And encouragement is still necessary as enthusiasm, motivation, wears off. Our focus is on what we need to know about something and about how to do something safely and effectively. Stage 3 is gaining mastery. We can use the skill with effort. Guidance is provided in a safe environment where mistakes are encouraged so that we learn not just how to do something, but also how not to do it, and thus gain mastery of the skill. And stage 4, peak performer. We can use the skill with proficiency and with little effort, with mastery. As practice deepens, we achieve that mastery and it looks effortless, even a talent. Empowering is provided in support of our continued practice in this less safe environment and real world. Why, what, and how are answered. Encourage focuses on the why we need to change something. Develop focuses on addressing what we need to know about something, and the guide and empower on how to do something. Develop in AdvantEdge Coaching focuses mostly on what your brain needs to know to facilitate your understanding and provide you with sufficient knowledge of the concept to act on it safely and advantageously. It's also where we link what you do already know to what you need to know. This helps your brain file the information well and builds on your existing knowledge, skills and talents so that we can leverage these. And we'll talk some more on this leveraging later. Now it's time to change, and change is difficult, which is why you need a guide. Let's look at guide in the EDGE model. Change is difficult. As you'll recall from the encourage section, coaching is a journey to change. Part of our problem isn't the problem itself. Going on this journey to change can be challenging and exhausting, whilst being thrilling and exciting. Bringing sustainable change is even harder. Most people resist change even when they see the need and believe that it can occur. The owner of the first hotel I managed was just 40 years old when he suffered a heart attack. His lifestyle, the booze, food, and a lack of regular exercise were contributory factors, but prior to the heart attack, there were no significant symptoms. Life was good, and BAM! He was on the floor in agony. He survived. His doctor told him bluntly that he had to change his diet, give up alcohol, smoking, take up regular exercise, change or die. A stark choice, and one that many people face. Initially, my boss came out of hospital ready and eager to take this advice seriously and change everything that was harming his health. It wasn't easy for him, but he stuck with it and now enjoys a slim-ish, healthy life, retired and sailing around the Mediterranean. Yet in the US alone, some 90% of heart bypass patients cannot change their lifestyles, even at the risk of dying. So it's not surprising then that changing people's behavior in business is a challenge, and a major challenge at that. And of course, you would have thought that I would have taken a salient lesson from my boss's experience. After all, I witnessed him having his heart attack. Any sensible person would quit the cigarettes, cut out the booze, Enjoy a healthy diet and exercise regularly. After all, when you see someone close to you living a similar lifestyle with the same high-stress job, you take note and make a change. Of course I did. I was a tender 53 when I died of a massive heart attack. Yes, you did hear that right. Dead for 4 minutes and 33 seconds, according to the medics, until they shocked me back to life. Ask me and I'll happily share my wonderful experience. But for now, I just want to emphasize that change is difficult. We can be motivated to change. We can be inspired to change. But at some point, we actually have to do the change. And that is difficult. Or at least any worthwhile change is difficult. Your brain resists change. You have motivation, but you also have resistance. To recap a crucial fundamental understanding, your brain's primary job is to keep you not dead. Part of that job means sticking to places and routines that are known to be safe. Another part of that job is being very prudent with the use of energy, thus change, even when caused deliberately and consciously by you, challenges your brain's sense of safety and stability, which is threatening to the known and the safe status quo. So your brain will resist or avoid the change as much as possible. It's fight or flight time. To save precious energy, your brain is wired to choose the easiest, least demanding option. And any change requires extra effort, more thinking, especially discipline and determination, which requires more energy. See, change is a battle between your motivation to change and your brain's determination to not change. If there's any doubt about the safety and stability of the future. Oh, and it's chemical warfare, with dopamine leading the charge for change and cortisol and norepinephrine mounting the defenses. Your brain resists any and all change. Try this simple, fun exercise. Please just cross your arms normally. Comfy? Now, cross your arms the other way. Not comfy? How long will you be able to stay with your arms crossed the wrong way before you automatically revert to your default? You just demonstrated to yourself why over 70% of all change initiatives in organizations fail. AdvantEdge Coaching makes change for you as easy as we can. There are 4 distinct steps to making change as easy as we can make it. 1. Co-create a safe environment. First, we co-create a safe environment for you and your brain to try things out, to practice new behaviors. 2. Small wins. We start small and build mutual trust and confidence, which is oxytocin, over time to reduce your brain's change resistance. You get early, quick wins to boost dopamine and serotonin, which increases your motivation to change more. 3. Then we'll encourage you to fail too. Yeah, sure, your brain hates it. But you don't just want to learn how to do something. You want to learn how not to do something. Remember, we're in a safe place where no one gets seriously hurt. This is the stage where your coach is going to push you hardest to try new things, to be bold and courageous, to step from your comfort zone into something new. All the while keeping you safe. This is one reason why in-house coaching and friend coaching cannot work well. It simply cannot or won't push you hard enough. It's also why you choose a coach who knows how to do something. Fourthly, and will unlock and leverage your talent in the AdvantEdge Potential to Performance system. I'll tell you a little more about this in the next video. Allow me a quick overview of the AdvantEdge Potential to Performance system. We have a simple chart with potential across the horizontal axis. This goes from something is hard to do to, that's right, easy to do. We struggle to do something which for us is harder to do. We can make it easier to do by developing your knowledge and skills for this particular task and giving you a safe environment to practice in, and by supporting you as you put this task into practice in the real world. Most managers, though, focus far more on driving you to do the task. They seek to motivate you, which is great, but motivation tends to be short-term and not very sustainable. Better leaders will inspire you to do a task. They'll tap into your higher needs and personal drivers, like a sense of belonging, mattering, and your self-actualization. Better still, they'll tap into your true purpose of serving others. Yep, slide that one in there. Your purpose in life is to serve others. What? Well, that's another story altogether. Being inspired to do something is terrific, but it's still hard to do. You probably won't do it so well, and it will take forever. Raising your performance is best achieved when you are encouraged, that is, you are motivated and inspired at every stage of your skill improvement, and you find the task easier and easier to do, usually because you've learned how and practiced a lot. To speed up this process in AdvantEdge Coaching, we seek to leverage your talents to effectively shortcut your learning and practice time so that tasks become easier for you to do, faster and more effortlessly. You can follow the link in the guide post or notes to learn more, but for now it's enough to know that we'll help you leverage your current real talents and abilities, your potential, to more easily, more effortlessly adopt and perform new behaviors and abilities. It's like taking a shortcut development route from enthusiastic beginner to peak performer. As you gain mastery in a safe environment, it's time to put this into practice in the real world, albeit in our case with a little support from your coach. It's time to empower. Let's talk about empowering. But first off, delegation is not empowerment. We mentioned in the guide that because it is uncomfortable, change is difficult. Your brain and your body are quick to revert to the default comfort zone. Once we extend new thinking, ways of being and behaviors into the real world, it becomes more difficult to sustain change, however much better it may be. Change is not free. It comes at a cost of discomfort, struggle, effort, time, judgment, adversity and uncertainty. And you know how your brain hates uncertainty. Change is a battle of your desire to be better and your brain's own thinks, let's just stay here where we might not be comfy or happy or fulfilled, but at least we know there aren't any dangers, are there? Let me just check that. So we need a secret weapon to help in this battle within ourselves. We use stewardship agreements for results and accountability. Before that, allow me to clarify an often mistaken understanding of empowerment. It is not the same thing as delegation. So delegation is not empowerment. When most managers say that they empower their staff, they are not even delegating, but abdicating their own responsibilities because they have failed to do something. Perhaps they don't like it or they can't do it themselves. Many of my clients had been making this error in thinking that delegation is the same thing as empowerment. No, it's not. Delegation is the action or process of delegating or being delegated. As a leader, you delegate the responsibility and accountability to do something, and you give them your authority to do this. And of course, you may call this power, hence the confusion. Empowering is the action of giving someone the freedom to do something by equipping them or supplying them with the necessary abilities, knowledge, authority, and right to do something for themselves or on your behalf. That is, you lend or you give them your power. Empowering someone is this four-step process that we call EDGE. To truly empower someone, a leader needs to encourage them, because this task is beyond their current comfort zone, to develop them with the knowledge and skills they will need to accomplish the task effectively, guide them in the use of their new skills, knowledge and authority in a safe environment, and then empower them. When you've empowered them, then you delegate with your authority to use that power. Our not quite so secret weapon of empowerment, AdvantEdge Stewardship Agreements. Now that you are equipped with the knowledge, skills, abilities, tools and techniques, your AdvantEdge coach supports you as you put things into practice in the real world. As your coach, we don't have the authority to give you in your workplace, but we do hold you to be accountable for yourself and your buddy if you have one. And we're one of the only development companies who hold your sponsor accountable too, if you have one. To help you be set up for this success, we have these stewardship agreements with you. So what is a stewardship agreement? A stewardship agreement is a tool for mutually extending trust from one to another with clear expectations and mutually agreed upon accountability. We'll have a stewardship agreement between you and your coach, and between your coach and your sponsor. You'll have one with your accountability partner too, your buddy. Let's expand a little on these two main parts: clear expectations and agreed accountability. Clear expectations. This typically includes your desired results and objectives, both hard numbers and soft results. Specific metrics you are measuring that matter. For example, sales growth or staff turnover. Specific actions or project milestones that are suitable. Pertinent boundaries, guidelines, limitations or rules. For example, growth excluding inflation, turnover excluding retirement. What support you should expect from your coach, your sponsor, or accountability partner. For example, we'll share best practice and neuroscience additional learning resources with you, masterclasses, videos, articles, templates, and tools through the private client platform. Your sponsor might also offer you mentoring time or resources or introductions, for example. And the second part, agreed accountability. We champion the idea of self-governance as much as possible with one, regular touchpoint sessions, which you arrange with your coach to discuss your progress. And two, weekly check-ins, a worksheet tool you complete to update your coach on progress, learnings and successes. And three, sharing your metrics and actions progress regularly. If applicable, we encourage you to arrange the same three tools with your sponsor and your accountability partner. All of these through our private online client platform, the AdvantEdge Coach Accountable System, as well as easy, secure access full tracking of all you do, your appointments schedule, all notes from our coaching sessions. You'll also get suitable reminders, nudges. I call it my auto nag system. There's a lot in the Edge model. So let's recap before your review. Let's do a quick recap of the Edge model to encourage a picture of what success looks like, the purpose and the payoff, or your why. Because change is difficult and takes you beyond your comfort. D is for develop, the ingredients of the what knowledge and skills you will need, linked to what you already know to accomplish the task or behavior effectively. Guide, the method of how you use your new skills, knowledge, and abilities in a safe environment. And then empower, empowering you with a stewardship agreement detailing clear expectations and agreed accountability. You can refer to the recipe, ask for help, find additional ingredients, resources that may be useful in your live environment for your patrons, your sponsors, your stakeholders. And wrapped with a review of what went well and what you will do differently next time. So let's do that now and review. A part of empowering people effectively is learning in and about actions through reflection. Those who reflect on their learning with these two simple questions improve their performance by 23%. At the end of every guidepost is this promised review. If you are not yet an AdvantEdge client, you can complete the online form with the appropriate details and receive an email copy of your reflection and your records, results, and accountability. For clients, it's a little easier. You simply log in to our private client area. Everything is logged, and your coach and possibly your accountability partner and sponsor can offer feedback, suggestions, or guidance to help you put your learning into action to get your results. Usually, we ask two seemingly simple questions. Just as I pointed out at the beginning of this guidepost. Question 1. What is the one thing you will stop doing, start doing, or change how you behave or act that will have the greatest impact on your leadership performance from your learning here? Question 2. What is the single, tiniest step you can take immediately that will begin that improvement, and by when? Yes, it's tempting for most people to skip this part. As I mentioned, we're big fans of truly empowering you, and that really means practicing self-governance. So my advice, don't skip this part. If there is one thing that makes the single biggest difference between good leaders and great leaders, it's written self-reflection. Think about every single great leader whom you personally admire. Got someone? Yeah. Either what? You know them personally and they impacted your life in a very special way. Or 2, you read about them. The vast majority will answer number 2. How do you suppose you got to read about what they did? Is it at all possible that they wrote it down in some sort of journal? My last question, to convince you that self-reflection and self-governance matters. Is it just that great leaders happen to, every single one of them, write some sort of reflective journal? Or does written reflective journaling make you a great leader? What is the one thing you will stop doing, start doing, or change how you behave or act that will have the greatest impact on your leadership performance from your learning here. Number 2, what is the single tiniest step you can take immediately that will begin that improvement, and by when? What if I need help with this? Well, your first step is talk to someone you trust, a medical doctor, a pastor, a true friend, maybe a coach or mentor. Remember, everyone has a greater or lesser issue with this because we all have a brain wired the same way and we all have the same basic needs. If you want to consider coaching, you can learn more about AdvantEdge Coaching so that you can have joy at work and your team becomes united in trust and collaboration. Contact us here through the links and arrange a complimentary, confidential, no obligation discovery section. Thank you for being with me. I'm Dr. John Kenworthy, and as your AdvantEdge coach, my purpose has been to encourage, develop, guide and empower you in the art and neuroscience of expert leadership so that you build a successful organization, create a collaborative, high-performing team with engaged, joyful employees. If you would like to learn how AdvantEdge Coaching can help you, your team and your organization, then join me for a complimentary discovery session by going to advantedge.coach/help me. That's advantedge.coach/help me.